Something unexpected just happened in a classroom. A British teacher smiled and corrected her students' English in front of the whole class. She said the student's phrase sounded odd, and then she gave a different word. The room went quiet. The student stood up. He spoke calmly. He corrected the teacher with the exact grammar and the exact word. The correction was right. The teacher paused. Then she thanked him. What did she say? How did a student correct his own teacher? And why did the moment go viral? Why this event matters. This was not just a classroom scuffle. It became a small public earthquake. People shared the video online. Teachers and students watched. Language experts weighed in. Some called it embarrassing for the teacher. Others called it a teaching moment. Many saw something deeper, a test of respect, power, and who gets to decide what correct English means. This story matters because it touches on big issues. We talk about English as a global language. We also talk about who shapes that language. For decades, native speaker standards from Britain and the US set the rules. But the world has changed. Millions speak English as a second language. Many speak it better in use than in old tests. This classroom moment puts all that on stage. How this situation started. The school is in a small city. It is a mixed international class. The teacher is British. She has taught overseas for many years. She is confident. She uses strict lessons. She likes rules. The student is Filipino. His name is Miguel. He is 17. He writes well. He speaks English every day. His family speaks Filipino at home. He learned English at school and on the internet. He reads books in English. He watches global debates and local news in English. On that morning, the class had a discussion practice. The teacher asked students to say a sentence using the word affect or effect. Many students were nervous. Some mixed the words. The teacher corrected them in a sharp voice. When Miguel spoke, he used the word the teacher called wrong. She stopped him and offered a change. Miguel raised his hand. He spoke slowly. He explained why his original word was correct for his sentence. He gave an example to show the difference. His classmates listened. The teacher listened. She checked her notes. Then she admitted she was wrong. What nobody noticed at first was this. Miguel had been practicing debates online. He had read grammar guides. He had helped other students. He did not want to prove the teacher wrong. He wanted fairness in the classroom. How the story got bigger. Step 1. A student films the moment. One classmate recorded the event on a phone. The clip lasted 40 seconds. It showed Miguel speaking, the teacher pausing, and the teacher saying, "Thank you." The clip was simple. It was clear. It had no edits. Step 2. The clip goes online. The video was posted to a social platform. It hit shares quickly. People found the scene unusual. The clip spread from small groups to large pages. Language forums picked it up. Teachers watched to see how to handle correction. Step 3. Public reaction grows. Comments divided. Some said the teacher should never be corrected in public. Some said teachers must admit mistakes. Many Filipinos cheered Miguel. Some non-Filipinos praised his calmness and knowledge. Language experts weighed in, using clear grammar rules to explain what happened. Step 4. Media and schools notice. Local news showed the clip. The school issued a short statement. The teacher apologized for being abrupt. She praised Miguel's courage and knowledge. The story moved from a short clip to an education debate. The global angle. In a world where English is a global tool, this classroom moment became symbolic. It raised questions. Who owns English? Are native speaker rules always right? What is respectful correction in a classroom? The main surprising truth. The big surprise is simple and clear. The Filipino student corrected the teacher not to shame her, He corrected her to make learning fair. He showed that English is lived, not only enforced. He showed that being an expert sometimes means listening, not dominating. That truth shocked many. It changed how people see classrooms and language. Explaining why this happened. The English of the Philippines. Strong and global. Filipino English is not a weak version of British English. It is a form of English used by millions every day. The Philippines uses English in courts, universities, hospitals, and media. Many Filipinos speak clear, neutral English. They learn both local and global expressions. Mini story. A nurse from Cebu trained in British hospitals. Her English helped her get work overseas. She learned formal medical terms and local slang. She now trains young nurses in both English styles. Expert view. A linguist says Filipino English blends US and British influence with local speech patterns. It focuses on clear meaning over accent. That makes it strong in global work. This classroom moment was not just about grammar. It was about respect, fairness, and the global reality of English today. The classroom culture. Correction versus learning. In many Western classrooms, teachers correct students to shape perfect grammar. In many Philippine classrooms, teachers also correct. But public correction can feel harsh. When a student corrects a teacher, it tests classroom power. Mini story. A teacher in Manila once let students debate grammar without interrupting. The results were better. Students learned to check sources and explain choices. Comparison. The British teacher used a quick correction method. Miguel used an evidence method. He explained his choice and showed a clear example. The method matters. Digital learning and self-study. Young people now learn grammar online. They watch videos, read articles, and join forums. Miguel studied example sentences and usage guides. He watched debates. He had practice correcting others online. His learning came from many places. Mini story. Miguel ran a small online group. He helped other students with spelling and grammar. That habit gave him the confidence to speak up. Respect and humility in correction. How a teacher reacts matters. When corrected, some teachers feel embarrassed. A humble reply turns it into a learning moment. The British teacher did this. She thanked Miguel. That response calmed the class. It also taught everyone how to handle being wrong. Mini story. A tense school in London had a similar moment years earlier. A student corrected a teacher on a history fact. The teacher admitted the error. The class learned trust grew after that moment. Honesty invited more learning. The power of video and social attention. The phone clip changed the scale. A private moment became public. The internet amplified meaning. Small events can now start big debates. The video forced many to ask, is English a fixed standard or a living tool? Comparison. Before phones, the incident would stay in class. Now it becomes global discussion. Language and identity. People link language to identity. For many Filipinos, English is a tool of progress. It opens job doors. It connects people globally. Correcting a teacher felt like defending a national skill, not attacking a person. Expert view. A sociologist notes that language pride grows when citizens use it in high-stakes jobs.
Nurses, pilots, and call center agents speak English daily. The moment in class echoed that reality. Education systems and authority. Western teaching often assumes teacher authority. In other systems, student voice has grown. Modern education values critical thinking. Miguel's voice came from critical thinking training. He had the right to explain his thought. Mini story. A school in Manila adopted debate clubs. Students learned to question sources and support answers. Those clubs produced confident speakers like Miguel. The role of humility and public learning. When teachers show humility, students learn a life lesson. The teacher in our story said thank you. This small act gave the class a model. Learning is a shared path. The public also liked to see an adult admit error. It showed strength. Who judges correct English? This moment forced a question. Who decides what is correct? Linguists say correct use depends on context. Legal language in UK courts needs strict rules. Casual conversation does not. Global English adapts. Miguel used the right word for his context. That is the key. Expert quote, paraphrase. English is many Englishes now. Usage, not accent, decides correctness. Consequences for teaching. Many teachers watched and learned. Some changed methods. They began to invite student explanations more. Others used the clip to teach respectful debate. Training centers started discussing how to correct students without shaming them. Mini story. A teacher training in Manila used the clip as a case study. Trainees practiced admitting errors and using student corrections as teaching moments. The most powerful moment. The strongest moment was not the correction. It was what came after. The teacher stood, looked at Miguel and said, "You're right. Thank you." Her voice was steady. Her students clapped quietly. Not to embarrass, but to honor learning. Miguel smiled, then sat down. He did not gloat. He did not shout victory. He returned to classwork. That calm closure changed everything. The video viewers saw an adult admit wrong and a student show respect. The public response shifted from mockery to admiration. It became a symbol of humility and shared growth. In the days after, people sent messages to both the teacher and Miguel. The teacher received notes about the value of humility. She was praised for showing strength in admitting error. Miguel received job offers to tutor English. He got calls from universities. He was invited to join online debates. The small classroom moment opened doors. It became bigger than grammar. It became about respect, fairness, and courage. Parents shared the clip with children. Teachers used it in training sessions. Students discussed it in forums. The moment became a teaching tool across cultures. It showed how correction can be respectful. It showed how authority can yield without losing dignity. Miguel's calmness mattered. He did not raise his voice. He did not mock. He explained, gave evidence, and sat down. That composure made the moment powerful. It turned a correction into a lesson in character. The teacher's humility mattered too. She did not argue. She did not punish. She thanked Miguel. That single phrase carried weight. It showed that authority can admit error. It showed that learning is shared. Together, teacher and student modeled a new kind of classroom, one where truth mattered more than pride, one where respect flowed both ways, one where mistakes became opportunities. Final message, the takeaway. One major lesson stands out. Learning is not a battle to prove who is right. It is a shared search for truth. When a student corrects a teacher, two things can happen. The teacher can defend authority and silence learning, or the teacher can accept correction and model growth.
This classroom moment taught both options. The teacher chose humility. The student chose calm knowledge. The result was learning for everyone. It showed that classrooms are not about power. They're about discovery. It showed that respect is earned by honesty. It showed that correction can build trust. Ask yourself, are you ready to admit a mistake when you see it? Can you honor someone who corrects you without losing face? Would you let truth guide you instead of pride? This story is not just about grammar. It is about human values. It is about humility, courage, and respect. It is about how small acts can ripple outward. It is about how one classroom moment can inspire thousands.
A British teacher corrected a Filipino student, and a Filipino student corrected back. In that simple exchange, the world learned a new rule. Real teaching begins when power yields to truth. But the takeaway expands further. It is not only about one teacher and one student. It is about every space where authority meets curiosity. It is about workplaces, families, and communities. It is about leaders who can admit mistakes. It is about citizens who can speak truth calmly. The classroom became a symbol. It showed that authority is strongest when it listens. It showed that respect grows when honesty is welcomed. It showed that courage is not loud, but steady. Miguel's calm correction was courage. The teacher's quiet thank you was humility. Together, they created trust. Trust is the hidden currency of learning. Without trust, correction feels like attack. With trust, correction feels like growth. This moment built trust in front of everyone. It reminded students that their voices matter. It reminded teachers that their honesty matters. The ripple effect was powerful. Students shared the clip online. Parents showed it to children. Teachers used it in training. Experts debated it in forums. The story became larger than grammar. It became a lesson in values. Humility is often misunderstood. Some think it is weakness, but humility is strength. It takes courage to say, "I was wrong." It takes wisdom to say, "Thank you." The teacher's humility turned a mistake into a model. It showed students that adults can learn too. It showed the world that authority can bend without breaking. Courage is also misunderstood. Some think it is loud defiance, but courage can be quiet. Miguel did not shout. He did not mock. He explained calmly. He gave evidence. He trusted his knowledge. That was courage. It was the courage to speak truth with respect. Respect is the bridge between humility and courage. Respect made the moment possible. Miguel respected his teacher enough to explain. The teacher respected Miguel enough to listen. Respect turned correction into connection. Respect turned a classroom into a community. The takeaway is clear. Learning is not about winning. It is about sharing. It is not about pride. It is about truth. It is not about silence. It is about voice. Think about your own life. Have you ever been corrected? Did you resist or did you listen? Have you ever corrected someone? Did you mock or did you respect? These choices shape trust. These choices shape growth. The classroom moment teaches us that mistakes are not failures. They are opportunities. They are doors to deeper understanding. They are chances to show character. The teacher showed character by admitting error. Miguel showed character by correcting with calmness. Together, they showed that mistakes can unite instead of divide. This is why the story went viral. People saw more than grammar. They saw values in action. They saw humility, courage, and respect. They saw a model for classrooms. They saw a model for workplaces. They saw a model for families. They saw a model for society. The final message is timeless. Authority is not about being right all the time. Authority is about guiding with honesty. Knowledge is not about silence. Knowledge is about sharing with respect. Learning is not about pride. Learning is about truth. So ask yourself again, are you ready to admit a mistake when you see it? Can you honor someone who corrects you without losing face? If you can, you will model growth. If you can, you will turn correction
into connection. This story is not just about grammar. It is about humility, courage, and respect. It is about how small acts can ripple outward. It is about how one classroom moment can inspire thousands. A British teacher corrected a Filipino student, and a Filipino student corrected back. In that simple exchange, the world learned a new rule. Real teaching begins when power yields to truth.